guys? George Glinsky here from Toe the Line, joined today by Jonny the Battler Lawson. How you doing, my friend?
How's it going, George?
Yeah, really good, mate. Your career is quite an interesting one. Obviously, the record at the moment is 1-6, but you've had, 7 fights is a lot of fights in BKB, but you've also had a lot of fights which should have really gone your way. A lot of people talk about the Mark Navarro fight. A lot of people talk about the Tony Lafferty fight. But what people really don't know is that you've only been boxing for 6 years. So I have to ask, why did you start boxing so late?
I sort of started the fight game late in general. I started MMA and Muay Thai whenever I was 20, and I'd done that for a few years. It sort of wasn't for me, it wasn't really along the lines of the sort of fighting I wanted to do, and I eventually got into boxing, and it just sort of took off from there. Must have been would have been about 6 years ago. I was about 24 at the time, just shy of 24, but yeah, it just took off from there, and here I am.
And you went on from there. You had 2 professional fights. I believe that was under Bieber. Am I right in saying that?
That's right. Yeah, I had 2 fights for them, and I couldn't get anything else. My coach was trying to push for fights, but I just wasn't getting on any shows, and I was renewing my license every year, and nothing was coming my way, so I just walked away from it. And by chance, near enough the time, I decided to knock the pro game on the head. I came across BKB, and then I won it, and I thought, right, I'll give Jim a message here, and he got back to me, and one thing led to another, and I was fighting. I got the hold of him in November, and then I was fighting in the January. So yeah, everything happened pretty quick.
And obviously that first fight was against Tony Lafferty.
Okay.
What did you say, sorry?
So no, yeah, you're right.
I thought I'd got it wrong then.
Back in BKB 9, no, it was.
It was, yeah, BKB 9 against Tony Lafferty. Obviously, a really, really close fight, and that's the main fight that people do think that you won. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, obviously, I do like Tony a lot, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I do think you won that fight as well. What was the experience like coming into that fight? Obviously, it was a back and forth affair.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. Just the sort of fight I like. Just someone that fights the same way as me, just on the front foot, just wants to stand there and trade hooks and uppercuts just non-stop. It was just absolutely amazing. It was a painful introduction, my face was a right mess afterward, but it was good, it was good crowd.
And from there, obviously you didn't get the decision there, and then it was a loss of 6 straight, so to 0-6. Yeah. Where was your confidence at this point? Because obviously you losing 6 straight, and then having the fights with Navarro and Tony Lafferty, and even the fight with Ricardo Franco went to a majority decision, another close fight. Where was your confidence at after those 6 losses?
The first couple sort of got to me.
Yeah.
And then as it just progressed, Smudger done an absolute number on me as well. He won outright. And then I got to the Navarro fight, and the confidence was sort of low. So I took that fight. Jim rang me on the Monday, and then I flew out on the Friday to fight him. And then I just had fuck it, I'll just get stuck in and see what happens. And truth be told, I thought I won it, and then the judges give it to him, and I can't. Sake, where's another one, And then Tierney and Lilly, they just completely outclassed me, outboxed me, and I was very, very close to knocking it in the head after the Tierney fight. Yeah. He just completely outclassed me, and I sort of was questioning my ability, fighting at such a high level, well, the highest level in BKB, And I thought, no, I'll keep going, and I finally got the win, finally. Better late than never, know what I mean? But I got it, first and any.
Oh, it was a feel-good moment for everyone, and as I say, you've had a career where you've been a little hard done by. Obviously, you're way better than your record suggests, and it was, for me personally, I was celebrating on the side. I have to say, I was very happy for you. But obviously, Robin Deakin, the last fight, the victory, the elusive victory coming in. How did it feel to get the W?
I just felt amazing. You know, it was 2 years of hard work just finally paid off. Don't get me wrong, I trained hard for all the other fights, but I'm just finally glad to get the outcome that I thought I deserved, you know.
Yeah. And how do you rate your performance there? Obviously, you finished him in the first round, something that no one's done before. He fought, Conor McIntosh and Mark Handley twice. Neither of them could finish him. It just took you one round. Did that surprise you?
Truth be told, it did. Like, you know, I sort of hope for a bit of a longer fight. You know, don't get me wrong, it was good to get the TKO, but I sort of prefer a long, drawn-out slugfest, you know, rather than it being over. Obviously, the amount of work that I put into it, you know, to be done in 2 minutes, you know, it's just. Don't get me wrong, I was really happy, but at the time, I wished it went on a wee bit longer, you know, but I was obviously ecstatic with the result, you know, really, really happy with it.
100%. And what was the game plan coming in out of interest? Was it to make it a scrap, or was there anything in particular?
Truth be told, my game plan, just the way I fight in general, like the game plan is just on the front foot, close the distance and keep the work rate high. Just stay in the pocket and just rip punches until either the end of the fight's done or until he goes down. You know, that's the game plan. Like, you know, but anyone that's seen most of my fights knows, like, I'm not a technical fighter. You know, I don't have a lot of technical abilities, but what I do have is just a solid chin, endurance, and just the will to just stand there and trade, you know. That's what I bring every time, you know, and yeah, I've been took out of my game plan by a lot better boxers, but yeah, I think I'm too far on in my fight career to start trying to be a bit more technical, you know, the likes of Tierney or Lilly, you know, trying to fight that sort of way, like rather than slug, but just stick to what I know.
You had Smudger Smith in your corner for the fight. What did he tell you before the fight?
Throw more straights. just don't go in ripping the hooks. He picked the shots, worked the long straights a lot more. You know, if the time came round, you know, if the opportunity arose, get stuck, you know, fight in close, but it was mostly, you know, just work the straight a lot more, right straight a lot more, which is something I don't really do. You know, I'd maybe throw the odd straight to get in close and then just start to barrage your hooks and uppercuts if I can, you know. But yes, that's what it was. Just don't throw more straights and don't gas yourself out was pretty much it, like, you know.
So obviously we speak about a former opponent there, 7 of them in total. It's a very interesting question, but who's hit you the hardest out of the 7?
To be fair, the vast majority of them hit hard. Now, I'm not taking it away from anyone, like, but the punch that I remember most is whenever I fought Franco. I think I'm near sure it was the second round. It was either the end of the first or during the second. You hit me an almighty left hook right across the side of the forehead, and it rocked the shit clean out of me. I still remember it, the ringing in the ears, the vision went blurry, and it was either taking the ear, just keep pushing forward. So I had to keep pushing forward, and everything just wasn't right, like, you know. But it was either that or take the knee. So there was no need to. I could just keep fucking going, keep at it, you know. But that's the one punch I remember the most.
I think. I'm actually trying to think now, out of his 6 fights, you might be, trying to quick, apart from, I think it might be just you and Sweeney. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's just you and Sweeney that haven't been dropped by Franco. I think that's correct, which is, you know, extremely impressive. And obviously, it's very hard to drop you. You've been in there with wars, and it's not as if you're on the outside. You're constantly in their faces and having a go. Yeah. That's what the massive appeal behind your fighting style is. So obviously you're Northern Irish, you are the only representative of Northern Ireland. Does that add pressure when you get into the ring at all? Well, sort of carrying the your nation on your shoulders?
No, not really. Just for told, I feel privileged and humble that I am the only person. You know, don't get me wrong. It would be good to see other lads from over here getting involved, but it's sort of a special thing being the only person from your country that's participating in the sport. You know, I'm proud of it. You know.
100%. And we wanted to get a prediction because we had a prediction from you for Sweeney versus Goodjohn. That video will be out in I should say a week. I'm still waiting on one person. I won't call them out, but they know who they are. Your prediction on Sean George versus Dan Chapman, which is obviously the massive co-main event of the night.
Yeah, I've seen from what I've seen of Dan Chapman, he's a really high level boxer. You know, a lot of technique about him. Sean is just a powerhouse, and Sean is just a complete powerhouse, and the training that man does, his conditioning is second to none. Like, by far the fittest man on the roster, by far. You know, I think it's going to go the distance, but I think Sean's going to take it on decision. I can't see Sean or Dan being stopped. I can't see it, you know. So I think I'm going to go for Sean. You know.
Solid. Well, it's a very interesting prediction.
You know, sort of. Yeah. You know, yeah, it would have to be Sean. Don't get me wrong. His boxing, his technical boxing's came on a lot, but you know, I wouldn't say it's up to the level of Dan's, but just I'll go. Yeah, you know, if it was, I'm sort of putting myself in his position, you know, because you know the amount of lads I fought, you know, that have been able to outbox me, but I think Sean will be able to handle it no bother.
100%. No, I like it. I think at the moment the consensus might be Chapman, but you just can't write off someone like Sean George. He's been in there so many times. I mean, it's just
you can't. You know, it's all right. You know, it's you know, you can't. Just someone might be a high level boxer, but that means fuck all. Like, you know, many a boxer's been took out of their game plan and been annihilated. Like, you know, so you know, you can't write anyone off. You know, it's anyone's fight. Like, but I personally think Sean will win it. Like.
Solid. So, just before we start talking about sponsors and who you have to thank, your next move, obviously you haven't got a fight currently in place, but is there anyone in particular you'd like to fight, or anyone at all?
If I had my pick, if I had my pick, like I'd like to go again Tony.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, another one with Tony, or I'd like to go again with Scott, but again Scott's his title fight coming up.
Yes, yeah.
Lily, so you know, the chance Scott won that, you know, I'm not going to get anywhere near him until I get a few more wins under me, you know. So, but Tony, if I had a choice, Tony would be my number one pick. But you know, I'm happy for Jim and Joe to match me up with whoever, like, you know.
100%. Cool. So sponsors, I understand you've got them written down. As always.
I do. It's pain in the earth trying to remember them all, you know, but there's quite a few here now. The vast majority of them have sort of run their course, but at the start, they did help me out a lot, you know, and I took a lot of pressure off financially as well, you know. So I've got the Rack Gym, Gum Shields to Go, Pressford Shutters, Temptation CBD, NI Classic Shirts, Spice Island, North Down Embroidery, and Smuggling Duds. As I say, most of them have ran their course, but they helped me out a lot at the start, you know, so I'm just not going to ignore them, you know.
100%. And anywhere, if anyone wants to jump in and get your sponsorship details, where would they find you on social media?
Instagram, Jonny Lawson, BKB, or you can find me on Facebook, Jonny Lawson.
Perfect. Well, we'll chuck those in the description. But John, it's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully the first of many.
100%, mate. Cheers, lad.